when we're trying to examine who we are, like where we come from, who we are, the majority of us are very much centred around our country of birth or country of origin. Can you see that? So here on Earth, that's a very common thing, isn't it? Because you're brought up and you're assimilating this world we're living in, this Earth that we're living in, the physical, you could say the physical part of the universe, in a manner that is focused on your senses and what you see. And remember, we raised this yesterday, didn't we, about the human soul and what you're really ignoring for the most part, the human soul, and focusing more on the fact that my physical self lives here in Belgium, or my physical self lives or comes from another country, Lithuania, Sweden, whatever. This is where what I feel is my country of origin. And it's really interesting because in every society, there is sort of almost a pride of your country of origin, isn't there? Mm. Where you feel like, I'm from this and I'm from that, and you identify with these countries.
And feel like we belong there, don't we?
Yeah, and
belong.
And there's even the language you speak, of course, creates separation between yourself and a person from another country, doesn't it? Because as you know, when you go to another country and you don't speak their language, there's a whole heap of things going on. You've got no idea what's happening. And aside from anything you can observe with your eyes, you can't work it out until you learn the language. And so there's all these barriers here on Earth that are constructed, and in a lot of ways purposefully constructed for you to live a very limited life. Right? And this has been going on for millennia, for thousands of years, this problem. And so we've all been brought up in this environment that is steadily detuning us from feeling that we're brothers and sisters, and steadily detuning us from our actual origins, right? So the question then becomes, where do we really come from? Isn't it? Now, if we're just a physical being, then you do come from the country you were born in. But if you're not just a physical being and you actually have a soul, then where did that come from? Now, the reason why I sort of remind you of these things, because I know you've listened to videos before or whatever and heard about this before, but the reason why I'm reminding you is because unless you understand that there's a part of you, and by the way, it's the largest part of you, that isn't physical, in the sense that it isn't what you can see, touch, taste, but there's a part of you, and it's your, you could call it your real sense of yourself, who you are, comes from a location that's not of Earth. So you know how you could really say that, you could say, instead of all of that, you could really say you're Earthlings, couldn't you?
Temporary Earthlings.
And in a way, you're temporary Earthlings, but the trouble is, a duck also comes from Earth, so a duckling is actually an Earthling as well. So ducklings are Earthlings. Now, what's the difference between you and a duck? Well, I think it's quite obvious that there's a few differences physically.
Feathers, someone said.
Yeah. But it's interesting that we identify to a country rather than even to a group of people that are not of a country, isn't it? So that's interesting in itself. Like a duck is a duck no matter where you go. But a human isn't a human no matter where you go, because you're from France or you're from Belgium or you're from Australia or from some country, and we identify like that. But the reality is we're not even Earthlings. We're souls, human souls.